Gilmer. Tom Gilmer was born and raised in the suburbs of Akron, Ohio. Adopted by a blue-collar family, he learned early the values and characteristics of hard work, integrity, and sacrifice. During Tom's youth, his father, who spent his career working in steelwork and manufacturing, and mother, who was a stay-at-home mother, encouraged Tom to be an active community member and volunteer his time to better others. Tom took upon himself to do just that by volunteering for the local mayoral election. In 2007, Gilmer was part of his first winning campaign, which inspired him to continue being an active member of the Republican Party. In 2009, as a senior in high school, probably have socks older than this guy. As a senior in high school, Gilmer ran his first race for school board against an incumbent who, at the time, happened to be the father of his high school girlfriend. That could be awkward. Upon graduation, Tom attended the University of Akron, where he became even more involved in politics. Tom worked with the Bliss Academy and Republican organizations to volunteer and lead large grassroots efforts to get Republicans elected. He was known as a successful grassroots manager and served on several state and federal campaigns. He then transferred to Liberty University, where he graduated with a business degree. In 2015, Tom moved to East Hampton, Connecticut to pursue a career in commercial and industrial construction, where he has managed several $100 million of commercial projects for our communities. Gilmer resides in Madison. Yay, Madison! With the love of his life, Kiara, their 2 pets, and a baby on the way. Both Tom and Kiara are active members of the Madison RTC, and they continue to work daily on building a better Eastern Connecticut. So Tom Gilmer is running for the Republican nomination for Congress in the 2nd District. Where is he? Tom? There he is. Come on, Tom. Tom Gilmer, folks.
So, Representative Jubisky is very good with one thing. He was honest, and he's a very honest man. And he does pronounce names incorrectly. And so, on behalf of my better half, her name is Sierra, like the mountains or the mist, which I really am a big fan of Sierra Mist. It's spelled differently, though. So, good evening, everyone. Okay, that was good. Let's try that one more time. Good evening. I like that. You see, because when I was promised that you guys would be active audience participants, I was really counting on that. I heard Mary Ann, didn't hear anybody else, but you know, that's normal. So, 9 months ago, I stood before you in this very room, and I introduced myself to you as the man who wants to defeat Mr. Courtney and the Democratic machine. And I promised you 2 things. First, that I would be the most involved and active candidate that you've ever seen in Eastern Connecticut. And secondly, that I would work tirelessly to raise money and defend Republican principles. I'm happy to report to you that in the last 9 months, I've attended more than 300 events throughout Eastern Connecticut, and going door to door with fellow Republicans and making hundreds of phone calls and speaking to hundreds and hundreds of voters in our district. I'm also happy to report that not only have we raised over $60,000, we have put together a path to the finish line to raise the funds necessary to beat Joe Courtney and bring positive change to Eastern Connecticut. Now, if I told you 9 months ago that in Enfield, we would have what Mary Ann calls a super duper majority, am I saying that correctly? I might have forgot a duper. Or that in towns like Vernon, Tolland, Coventry, or Thompson, and I say Thompson because it's a good name, but I think you should change it to just Thomas. Or Tom. Just a thought, because you're in charge now, Amy. Just a thought. If I told you 9 months ago that a little town by the name of Sprague, with 1,200 registered voters, would take out Kathy Austin with the efforts of a relentless town chair, who's not here tonight, but Mike Meadows did a great job. I want to recognize him. And Cheryl Blanchard. You guys would have called me insane. But you know what? We did it. And we did it with all of our hard work as Republicans. It happened. When I was in Sprague, I saw citizens. I didn't see Democrats and Republicans. I saw citizens who were tired of being deceived by their representatives. And that happens on all levels of government. We're familiar with that with the tolls. We're deceived every day. We don't know if there'll be a session or if there'll be a vote or not. And we're also very excited about the circus ending hopefully today, or as somebody told me, maybe Tuesday down in DC, which is a whole bunch of other deceptions. So, as I said, the same feeling holds true at all levels of government. We, the people, are tired of being taken for in our towns, in the state of Connecticut, and in Washington, D.C. 9 months ago, I came to you all with a message that it was time for change. Now, let me ask you the same question I asked you 9 months ago. Are things better today in 2020 than they were in 2007? No. Let's try that again. Are things better today in Eastern Connecticut than they were when that man was running our district? No. I like that. That's a better answer. Good. I'm going to ask you another question. Let's try this one. Do you want to live in a society where your elected officials want to silence you? Where your representatives want you to apologize for being American? Where they would rather give billions of dollars of your money to Iran than take out a mass murderer? No. Chris Murphy, he made me angry with that tweet. We won't get into that. Where they would want to take your freedoms away, control your health care, and disarm you so that you couldn't stand up against them. Is that the type of Eastern Connecticut you want to live in? No! I like that. That's a good answer. So if you feel as I do, then we must agree to do something to stop that from happening in this country, because it is happening. Today you have a choice. Today you have the opportunity to defend freedom, to defend our liberties. Now, before you make the commitment, you need to know that you're signing up for being judged, for being called names, and for people calling you intolerant. But that's okay, because you represent the party that fights for their rights to do that. So, this is the part of my speech where I tell you the 3 things that I believe we need to do in Eastern Connecticut to win. First, we must agree to stand for something. We must unite under the basic principles of our party, and we must defend them with conviction. In 1854, when the Republican Party was established to be the protectors of individual freedom, they believed in a small government to preserve the sanctity and liberties of the individual from being controlled by the few. To support a federalist system of government that would bring power closer to the people and limit the power of the Fed. And to not just be fiscally conservative, but good stewards of our resources and promote liberty and justice for all. Those are the basic principles of our party. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If we can bring our party back to the basics, we will start a movement, I promise you, in our communities that has never been seen before. Secondly, we must show up. Simple as that. 80% of winning is just showing up. So volunteer, knock on doors, make phone calls, give of your time. And I'm actually going to help you with that right now. So everyone knows Chuck. Chuck, say hey. I got him to wear a button-up. I take credit for that. So I will take that one. And then Tess, could you raise your hand? So everybody sees Chuck and Tess. If you want to bring change to Eastern Connecticut, go see them afterwards, and they can get you signed up to volunteer. So please do go see them. Also, at the end, I do have some t-shirts and some freedom flags. We had Congressman Bill Johnson in last November, and we started doing something called Eastern CT for Freedom. So we do have that. You can come in and check those out. The reason that I chose to do these freedom flags is because it's a symbol of not only our country, but the symbol of a movement where I want us to put America first and be unapologetic about our patriotism. We started this back in the early fall, and we're going to continue it until the day that we beat Joe Courtney. So I told you the first two components of winning in 2020, going back to the basics and showing up. The second one is one word. Can anybody guess what that word is? Money's good too. Heather had the right word. Money, I have donation forms back there. I'm unapologetic about that and unapologetic about being Republican. But that word I'm going to challenge you guys with is attitude. Every day we have the choice on how we're going to face the challenges of the day, and it is vital to the future of the party and the future of Eastern Connecticut that you wake up every day with the attitude that we can and we will. In 2020, we can fight for Republican principles, and we will. In 2020, we can volunteer and get Republicans elected, and we will. And in 2020, we will defeat Mr. Courtney, and God willing, we will. There is, I promise you, my friends, there is a sunrise after every sunset. And on November 4th, the day after the election, the sun will rise and we will wake up stronger and better than ever before and in victory in Eastern Connecticut. As a kid adopted by two working class parents outside of Akron, Ohio, one a CNC machinist working in the manufacturing, and my mom, stay-at-home mom, I know the principles and values of hard work, of the American dream. I know how blessed I am to have been afforded the opportunities of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I know that with a little hard work and elbow grease, anything is possible. I may be Ohio by birth, but I am Connecticut by choice. And as your representative, I will see that your kids, your grandkids, and my kid on the way will choose Eastern Connecticut. God bless you, God bless our great nation, and God bless Eastern Connecticut. And do not forget to sign up and volunteer. I look forward to seeing you all, and thank you guys so much for your attention. I appreciate it.
Tom Gilmer, everybody. Let's give him a big round.